Hey,
Hey, hi.
hi, very nice to see you here.
Yeah, I know. It was like a 5 minutes back request because most of them they don't have connection, internet
Oh, okay.
connection being an issue. Maybe a lot of people might also have an issue joining in. Would you like to probably send a note to your followers or somebody in the status or something? We can probably start after 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure. I'll do that.
Yeah, let me also do that.
Not speaker also.
Yeah. Cool. We have some people joining, so I think we can start. Hey, thank you so much, Vani, for joining us today with Shevolve, and for a lot of people who would have expected Ramya. I think Ramya couldn't join last minute, and they had to find a host, and they couldn't find anybody. Ended up with me, and I have Vani with me. So, Vanipriya, I think pretty famous on LinkedIn space and also in women in tech space, and I think we would love to listen a lot about you from you, Vani. So tell us about your journey and how you started, how it's been there so far. Let us know something about you.
I think, honestly, thinking back, right? I never planned anything. It just rolled over. It just happened. So I thought I was in some eighth standard. Now here I am talking to you. So uh, that's
Okay.
how I mean, sometimes it's like it's very surreal. No, it just life happens so quickly. Uh, so thinking back, I've always been from Chennai, and I grew up in an environment, a typical middle class environment where education is always told to be the thing to go on, right? If you would want to be a dancer or a musician, but you should be still educated, right? So that is
Not
the
just
kind of.
educated, right? You become an engineer and then decide what you want to do in life.
But thankfully, that engineer tag wasn't there in my family. They said, have a graduation, then do whatever you want.
Okay.
Uh, I would say I was also pretty inclined towards academics, and I always wanted to be at a lot of places at school. So you find me in most of these clubs and hopping around stuff. So I always loved problem solving in some form or the other. It need not be a math problem or anything. You just come up with things. So I think one led to the other, and I got introduced into programming around sixth grade or something, and there were some very nice computer science teachers in my
So
school.
you pretty much started coding from sixth standard or seventh standard, like post your primary, or oh you did? Okay.
Right, right.
Okay.
We didn't have a system or anything at home, but then seeing how I was basically uh, Tamil சொன்னா சுத்தி சுத்தி coming around the computers, the computer
Okay.
teachers were like, okay, you
So
seem pretty interested.
which year did you have your own computer?
I had my own computer pretty much when I was completing school, around 2002. Uh,
2002. Okay.
two.
People can
So
also
what?
comment when was your first computer landed at your house. So we would love to know when we are
Right.
chatting.
At those points, computers were not the sleek, right? It used to be like a huge.
Correct,
Uh,
correct.
you
Yes, they
you
will
need
have
an
one
entire room.
computer. Yeah, they'll have one computer, they'll have MS Paint open, and there'll be like four people just waiting. Hey, you did that, right? Move on, let me do that
Exactly,
with the
exactly.
mouse, and everything is a
Right. So
fantasy now.
so that I think at that point of time just went to my school, and I never went to a lot of vacations and all because we had a party at home, so we never had the luxury of going to a lot of long drawn vacations or anything. So I used to get enrolled in a lot of camps and stuff like that. So I just went around and asked my college school teacher, like, look, I have time at home. Can I come during the summer holidays to school and start coding? Every day, 1 hour or
Oh,
2 hours,
I
would be okay.
really think I'm hearing a Bill Gates version from India.
Uh,
This is, have
but
you heard?
this is what happened. I used to go to my school during summer holidays, at least
Okay,
during seventh, eighth, and all of that. And
okay.
there used to be 11th standard, 12th standard kids who used to be doing it. So I used to go around like Anna, Akka, what are you doing? Types and all of that. So
Nice.
that's how it started. I mean, I never really cried or anything about to have a computer at home. So my school used to be. In fact, I stay next building to my school even right now.
Oh,
So
okay.
I know school is very. It was like second home. I used to love going to school. So I used to go during the summer holidays, spend time in the computer lab and all of that. but I wouldn't call it like a Bill Gates kind of a fantasy where computer occupied all of the headspace and mind space and all that. I thought, okay, that's also an integral. It was a puzzle to a bigger thing kind of thing. So
Something bigger than what I can understand at this stage, type of a thing.
correct. I mean, yeah, like it's nice thing to do, and people just wonder why do you want to go back to school during May and all of that. You have to be at home. I just want to keep myself occupied. So that's how it started. And over a period of time, I was almost about to represent India in a coding contest at that point of time. But then, for various reasons, for being
Okay,
a
now
girl,
the Bill Gates version is moving a little bit to Elon Musk version. I'm pretty excited.
right,
Okay.
right. So probably if I were in South Africa or if I were in the US, things would have been different. But then it got cut because they told the school didn't want to take a risk of sending a ninth standard girl all alone to Philippines or some Papua New Guinea and stuff like that.
Yes,
But
yes.
yeah, I was replaced by a boy for safety reasons, and then that I mean that's how it is. So
Okay.
and incidentally, I felt. When I joined 11th standard, I took computer science class, and the first lesson I was like, this I did in my 8th standard summer holiday, so I don't want to do it again. So I went into biology. So,
Okay.
that's how it started. So I always wanted to learn a lot more than score and all of that stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I have to thank my family for being supportive of those kind of things. They didn't push me towards engineering. They didn't push me towards getting scored. They said you know what to do best. If you are sorted, do whatever you do. So that's how it
Nice.
started. And then I didn't take engineering. I took mathematics. I thought mathematics will give you a base for whatever I wanted to do. When I knew what I wanted to do, I think at 12th standard I didn't know what I was not very very sure that I wanted to do engineering or this or that. So I told I'll take it slowly. I did math in MOP Vaishnav. Then I did MCA. I thought, okay, I like coding. Let's go back to coding. I did. I in between I did music for a movie. So I tried a lot of things in life. So
Wow.
I think it just rolled. It just happened. So
Nice,
uh,
nice. So
that's how it
I
is.
think I think for a girl who's like born and brought up in South India and some conservative place like Chennai, I'm assuming it's Chennai, right? Conservative place like Chennai. What would you say as this was the most difficult part, Padmini? I think everything else was sorted, but this was difficult being a girl. I wished oh, it was if I was a boy, probably I wouldn't have gone through that. Did you have any difficulty that way from your teen till early 20s?
See, I would say the difficulty is more about how the outside world looks at you, right? They have this preconceived notion saying, okay, a girl of 8th stand has to do this, a girl of 12th stand has to do this, a girl has to do only these things, right? So, incidentally, I play guitar. So they were like, no, girls don't do guitar. So do something else that's more girly, right?
Yeah.
I mean, every stage, right? As simple as playing a guitar was more like a breaking a stereotype kind of thing, which is not at all that. It's just another instrument, just some music. So, uh, I would say the biggest issue was, as I said, right, there was this competition where I was not, the school didn't want to take a risk. It was not my parents. It was not, mostly the problem is at home.
So you're
Competition was
saying
not
that
that.
being a girl, from your house, they were quite a good support, but then the school was sort of, not ready for the whole rebel of, giving those opportunity to girls.
I wouldn't say they were like they went to a very grandmotherly mode of it. I don't know what to use for that kind of thing. So they were very nice. I mean, they went to that level of allowing me to take those rounds and all of that. But then they started thinking, okay, let's not take this risk of just sending the girl all
Okay.
alone. So, so I think I wouldn't say it was very challenging because in my mind I was very sorted. My parents were very sorted. So even if people were saying a lot of things, it was just going above my head and go.
Doesn't matter anything. So I think that has a very deep, data or insights when you're saying that, right? There is an outside world and there is a family, and you are just in the middle. Like you pretty much need so much of support from so many other areas for you to really get succeeded or whatsoever. So today, if you see, I think some of us are like really fortunate that, we have a strong career that, without not much of breaks, or we've always landed in the right opportunities. Probably we figured out what the right opportunity is, whatever the reason could be. It happened to us so naturally. But there are some women who are still sort of struggling. They are still the kind of beliefs or the myth system that you were talking about, right? Still stuck with that. What would be your suggestion for such women, like if they have to do like top 3 4 things to come out of it, or how they should probably look at their life? What would be that, as a a woman in tech, or as a woman in the leadership? What would be your suggestions or advices?
Right. Few things, right, which I've sorted out, I have kind of figured out over a period of time. One is, people talk about work-life balance, right? I think work is a part of life. It is not that work is on your right side and life is on your left side. So you have to look at it as a continuum, right? When we go at when you talk to nutritionists or your fitness coaches and all of that, right? They would usually say, your diet is a continuum. It's not that you are on strict diet for 5 days, and the sixth day you say cheat meal and you just hog on everything and undo the rest of the 5 days, right? So it is always about looking at how continuous and all that. I think to begin with, you have to look at this I would say piece of puzzle, the entire puzzle itself, and figure out what are the different pieces that you have. Which is the
Mm-hmm.
biggest piece, the smallest piece, which is a piece that you can swap with something else, which is a piece you can't, you just can't, not do without it. So uh, I think it is not that easy to talk about, sort out these pieces. It takes a lot of introspection, understanding your surroundings. It is not going to be easy to look for support outside. The first support has to start coming from within, right? You have to say, look, I want to be a career woman, or you just want to be a good homemaker, you just want to be a good mother, you want to keep your house clean. All of these things, right? These are all 20-25 things that you might want to do in your life. So start looking at each of them, and you will not be able to conquer all of them on a single day. So be very, very appreciative of what you're able to do on a given day. Don't be very hard on yourself. I think most women have this tendency to be extremely hard on themselves, right? I have to be the best mother in this town. I have to be the best of everything. Unfortunately, even the best of the best aren't always the best on all days, right? They are the whole question about being best is, what is the percentage that you can give your best on a given day, or a given period of time. So
I
I think
think,
the big
yeah, agreed. When we say, you can't be the best in everything, the expectation, the kind of pressure that women have, or from people, like, if you're a woman, if you're a mother, there are certain things that you have to do. Then the career is like, yes, you can do that too. It's very easy for us to go and tell a woman who's like probably struggling, to take care of the kid or take care of the family, when they can't afford a housemaid or help, and so many things. Like, in my early stage of my career, like, when leaders and all of them speak, right, they always say that, go for a housemaid, go get a maid or help. You can't do everything, go for it. I'll be like, come on, like, I get 4 lakhs or 5 lakhs per annum, and you are like in a leadership probably getting some 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs, and it's very easy for you to sit there and then tell me that, I cannot do everything, and I need to go for a help, or I need to go for, having a maid or anything of that matter. So what would be your suggestion for people who are just starting, and probably not having that kind of strong support to probably go for a maid, or probably go for a house help or whatsoever, where the things need to be shared? What kind of a conversation we should have with our partners, or with our ecosystem? How do you think we can convince them, even in the cases that they are not ready? How do you think women can take those areas?
true, true. See, I think all of those options that we spoke about, right? Having a housemaid and helpers and all of that, that's all gone out of the window with lockdown, right? We are very scared of getting people in, and the kind of second wave that's happening. So I think the biggest tool in all of these things is time management, right? You have to understand how much of how much of time you really need to be sitting with the baby, how much of time they sleep. So it's all about juggling these things, right? When if you know your schedule of the baby, 2 hours she's going to sleep at this point of time, this is the time I probably can do the best of the work. Even at work, right? 8 hours of work, your individual work might not be more than 3 to 4 hours. The other times are on meetings or figuring out things with other people, stuff like that. So you need to really, really understand how your time is being spent on a daily basis, right?
Okay.
Uh, from a very very young age, I used to look at time as minutes, not hours, right? If you start saying, cooking takes 1 hour, taking getting ready takes half an hour, you start looking at it as at finite object, right? Like 2 minutes, 2 minutes, and 20 seconds, things like that. You really get into the thick of time, you get a lot more out of time. So I think to begin with, start slowly. So you cannot do away with not taking care of your baby. So probably try to start out the thing. I used to be I know I took a lot of help from moms with the different difficulties people usually face even when I was pregnant, so that I can be ready to face what is coming. It might not work for you, but getting a lot of inputs from different people always helps, right? To know what the options are. So take care of all of those things, right? First thing is, don't get intimidated with all of these things coming at you, right? I think a lot of women lose at getting it. They fail even before the war. So I think wait for the war, look at your opponent, and then start doing things that you can actually win, right? You don't use the weapons you don't know to use. So figure out what weapons you have, figure out who's your opponent, and then start slowly one by one, and then get into a career. There's no hurry that you have to get into a career like, no, it's not a competition. I got it 4 months. Somebody might take 4 years. Our bodies are different, our minds are different. So I think you should one must invest a lot into oneself to understand what is my physical capability, what is my mental capacity. Does this kind of work really work at this point of time? Can I do the same kind of work? Can I do more? Can I do less? I think a lot of this has to happen. The first conversation should be with yourself, be it in the mirror or be it in the one quiet corner when the baby is sleeping. Uh, I used to have a lot of these conversations when I feed my baby. So it used to be a very, very nice this thing, and assume that the baby can understand a lot of these things and have this with her. So it used to be a really good motivating thing, and all this happened during lockdown, so it was a very, very quiet this thing. So I think all this introspection of what we can really do helps, right? Instead of looking for a lot of external help will obviously come. You can't really be an island and try to achieve a lot of things conquer the world. So to understand what you can actually do at any point of time is something that you have to really start with. And then probably after that, right? Think about how you can get back to work. It need not be an 8 hours job to begin with, right? Start consulting, start volunteering. There are so many startups these days who even can afford, who might not be able to afford 8 hours of work, probably 2 hours of work. And then slowly ramp it up. By then the baby will also be growing. So you can start taking 1 hour from here and put that 1 hour from here. So it's all of that. All of this is in our hands. It's not that somebody's going to come and give it to us. And the problem I feel with a lot of people is that they think it's some kind of a template, right? I have to take care of the baby for 24 hours. Obviously, the baby actually doesn't need 24 hours of our time. The baby also wants to be her or herself or by himself at some point. They really don't want you
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
doing
yeah. That
right?
becomes a little suffocating, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Even if you're like always like chillakutti and all that, it becomes super
They
suffocating for
don't
the
want you
kid.
to be
Like,
clingy,
when are
right?
you leaving?
So I mean, I feel so. I think as the baby grows, you have to start treating them as an equal at some point. They'll be right there in the next 15, 16 years, right? So
Yeah.
and then what? 16 years you're going to spend with them, and you still have to go back to your own life at that point of time. So I think you have to treat the baby as how you would have an adult guest came into your life, and you had a roommate. You're not going to stop working for them, right? You are still going to make an extra meal for them, take care of their whatever it is, and still continue with your life. And that's exactly how you're going to treat the baby. Don't treat the baby as, or look at the baby as something that's here to disturb your all the life that you built for 25 years. So I think a lot of things has to have with introspection. And you have a nice mentor, or if you have other women who can help you with there are a lot of communities these days. It's not like how it was before, right? can reach out to people
I
in
know. I
situations,
think the
right?
communities and the kind of support we get from communities is like quite heavy. And you are part of many of the communities now, like women in tech and so many things. Like, what would be your suggestion on how women can join communities and make use of it? Is there any community that you
I
can suggest women who are watching?
I think the best thing is for women is to reach out, right? Just start reaching out. It's actually it's not just for women. I tell this to a lot of men as well. No, be it finding a COVID bed or be it finding a job, you just have to reach out to people. There's no way that you're going to get things sitting in the place that you are, and reach to a lot more people. This is what sales teaches us, right? If you want one sale in a year, you have to reach out to 10 people. That's 1:10 ratio. So reach out to as many as these people there. You will find a good soul somewhere there. You will get a nice shoulder to lean on. I think communication is very very essential, and the same communication has to happen at home, right? You can't expect everybody to come and say, hey, go for work, we'll take care of the baby. That's not going to happen. If it happens, great, you have a
Hmm.
wonderful family, right? But if it doesn't happen, it you have to understand what works with your spouse or your in-laws or your parents. Some people like it assertively, some people like it aggressively, some people like it very, very quietly. You just go about it, figure out what kind of a person you are, and then come back support. Right? So you have to
Yeah.
be a very smart person to handle these emotional things at home and do what Tamil in Tamil, right? For the people who understand Tamil, there's the saying that says "Aadra mata aadikkaram, paadra mata paadikkaram," right? You make yourself that which the other person can appreciate and understand. So I think that really helps. Reach out to everybody personally, professionally, and the more you reach out, the more you know that what you're lacking and you know what you should be acquiring as well.
Oh yeah, I think that's a very good note to close the thing on. A lot of people never get what they want because they never ask for it, right? And like why am I not getting this opportunity? Only she's getting it or he's getting it because the only reason is that you've never asked for it, right? It's
Absolutely.
pretty cool. Yeah, I think the advice was pretty cool. So I want to close it with a very light note. So tell us what you do apart from work, and I know you read books and taking care of the kid and so many things. But what do you do for fun during the lockdown? Why don't you share some fun
I
tips
do
on
all of
how
this.
we can have fun?
So I play the guitar.
Okay.
I sing a lot, and
Oh wow.
I doodle a bit. So that's
Okay.
the and I
How
have
would
a
you
light
take?
habit.
How would you take if I ask you to sing in this live for probably some few lines?
What do you want me to sing?
I mean, your favorite song. I'm sure a lot of followers are also Tamil. Probably one or two lines of Tamil song.
So I'm basically a Carnatic singer. So I can tune a couple of lines that I tune for my baby.
Something that you like.
All right, sure. निरञ्जनी निखिलजननी मृडानी भवानीयं विना मरीगलदा कतिलोकमुदो निरञ्जनी निखिलजननी मृडानी भवानीयं विना मरीगलदा.
I'm sure
Thanks for
everyone, everyone who is watching, they'll be like super surprised. I thought this is some career coach sort of a video, but what are we doing? I think this type of positivity is so much needed today. Like the moment we take the
absolutely.
call, the kind of negativity we have around, we should make sure we make our own recipe of a little bit of positivity and happiness. I'm sure you've spread so much positivity today, Vani, and thank you so much for joining Shevolve Live and sharing all the valuable journey of whatever you've done and so many other feedback as well. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for having me. Thanks.
Bye. Bye guys.